Okay, welcome to the Forgotten City. This is a game that I never really heard of until one day I just saw it and thought, well, give it a go. And to tell you the truth, it's very interesting. Now I get to show viewers what this is like. So let's see what the Forgotten City brings. Right. Okay.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Well, I don't know. Let's be a woman for a change, because I'm forever being a man. One day. Yeah, that'll do.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
Yo, Richard, how you going, mate? How are you? You've already missed the introduction as to what this is. I think you can gather from when you've seen it briefly, when you've come round in the past. I think you should work out what this is from what I told you, or what I was going to do when doing the last stop. Hopefully you can remember, and how are you? Right, I'm gonna pick that one.
Oh, you're an archaeologist? Then you'll definitely want to hear this. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped, or injured, or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please? Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. I just... What do you want to know?
Okay then. Let's start from the start.
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean? Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you. All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Okay, pal, that's brilliant. And hi, Locks for Life. What's the choices again? Well, thank you for saying.
You're welcome. Always happy to help. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is. You really don't remember? We're in Italy. This river is the Tiber. Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al... What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me. Great. So you're ready to go look for Al? Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
Okay. Here we go. Let's have a look. Might as well have a good look. Look at the ruins. I've never really had a good look at the ruins before. So, you know, I'll have a good look now. You see why it's called ruins. Okay, that's just... So that's there, just for the sake of being...
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain."
Okay.
The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain. For this shall be their final resting place. Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation, or
Right.
a warning. Alworth.
Somehow I'm gonna get to the city. Well, this is the ruined city. This is what it's like ruined. Owl's Trail. I appear to be doing that again. Okay. Inscribed
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options: death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right, and I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now, and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
Okay. Let's see. Lots of gold, people. Here we go. Let's step in. See where it takes me. So here we we go. Let's walk up to the first person.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here. We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March?
Yeah, I think I'd say so with our... Right, it is.
It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the Empire are you from, exactly? CE? No idea what you're talking about. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. Not laws, law. There's just one, the Golden Rule, and the punishment for breaking it's... well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming? Follow me.
Lead the
When I
way.
first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing.
So,
No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your pretty new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking her to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her, if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... well, you know, I don't know what happened to her.
yeah, well, I'm gonna meet someone soon who I really...
Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the Forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. I
Okay.
expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today. Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, The legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10. Made us draw straws.
The golden rule is
Whoever drew the
horrific.
short straw had to be
One
executed by
person
the
breaks
other
it.
9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong.
Oh, another one fresh out of the
One of
baths,
us
I
in
take
10
it.
would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Row is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
It's horrible.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name? A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of Athena. You must be a woman of great learning. We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
Okay.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin? Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep rule. So, let's take it from the top.
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I just say it makes sense to me.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault and rape, as well as theft and arson and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were
you. Okay. What did you mean when you said Proserpine? Okay.
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
Oh, right, I'm from 2,000 years in the future. Oh, yes, I do. That's pointless. I might as well just be honest.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
You're all been turned into golden stone. Yep, that's correct.
I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
Okay, what questions are left? How does the ritual work? Because you are forgetting how many questions are at the beginning of this. To this one person. I forget that because it has been a while.
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
I did see human remains in the temple.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best, or I can't promise anything. I'll just say I'll do my best.
I suppose that's all I can ask for.
Let's see what other questions there are. Oh, the questions are getting less now.
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot. Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Tell me what you really think. Okay, I'm going to try that.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
If I do this, will you help me get back to mind. Oh, yes.
If I understand Proserpina's
That's that
ritual
one.
correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense? Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule? Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them, if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Tell you what, I'll get right on it. I will go to that one next. Yes, I did. I mean, I very nearly didn't. I nearly bailed out and thought, sod it, go for something fresher, but you know what, I thought about it, and you know what, I might as well go through this again. I've been looking for an excuse to, because when I went through it not streaming, I got the ending I got wasn't the best one, so I will do the best one streaming. So
Oh, don't mind me. I just live here.
I'll come back and talk to you. I was told to make the one I'm going to top priority. Wow, she's so flippin' lippy. Go past her. Oh, I just live here. Wow, I only live here. The only reason why I'm walking past you is because I promised Sentinels I would make this Lucretia top priority. Otherwise, I'd have spoke.
Ove.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Yulia. She was a good woman. She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the Golden Rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the Golden Rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath. Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day, or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, Not even the Golden Rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetric Camfututo and scratching his eyes out. Then you'd better get me that Sylphium quickly, hadn't you?
Okay, let's now go speak to Decius.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Decius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
Let's have I'll have a look at this
How did I
story
end up
first.
here? That is a lengthy tale. Alright. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, hoping to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. The girl? Weren't you listening? All my valuables or the girl? I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the car, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. Naturally, I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank not far from here with nothing in the world but a single silver coin.
Ooh. Now I see commiseration.
Thank you, friend. But it turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I could just figure out how to get it out of here.
Let's ask that then. Do you know a way
I'm
out of
afraid
it?
not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking. Oh yeah, gotta watch out. Old Decius has got your back though.
Let's ask what.
It's terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk.
Okay, so I've got to obtain a rather sort of hasn't the magistrate planned weapons. I'm not getting you.
Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet. Thank you, friend.
So let's ask him once more, and then I'll.
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us? Not going to happen.
Okay then, let's.
Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii. Oh, it's perfectly legal. Simply a question of supply and demand, I'm afraid. Take it or leave it. Hear what? You sure you're feeling all right? If you're hearing things, perhaps you should pay a visit to Lucretia's clinic. We don't want another Navier on our hands.
What happened to Navier?
She claimed the statues were whispering to her. Nobody else could hear it. Then she shut herself in the palace and we never heard from her again. But do you want this Silphium or not? That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard and save your coins, you should be able to afford it within, say, 5 years? Well, if you did that, you'd break the golden rule, and we'd share the same fate as the last lot who lived here. Is that what you want?
I suppose you're right. Is that what you want? It's not on the move now. You don't know that for sure. I'll take my chances.
We agree on something. Now, do you want to make a purchase? Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something within your budget? Very well. Another time.
The time of crisis is not so Decius can think about, although I suppose in a roundabout way he's got to make a living, so I can completely understand why. Well, I could potentially, because I know how this works, I could potentially just take it. Because I know what happens when you do.
For the last time, Decius, I'm not making you a bow. You know why.
Greetings and salutations.
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
Right, so let's see who there else is to speak to. I don't think I'm ready to take that yet, because I'll end up restarting conversations. Although it won't stop the restarting of conversations anyway. But I'd rather speak to everyone so I don't worry about it as much. Now let's speak to Lucretia. I spoke to Decius. Now, do I go back and speak to the ones I've left behind down those stairs? Although the one down the stairs, one of the ones I left behind not speaking to, I couldn't care less. And you'll find out why when I speak to him. Right, let's...
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which part of the world do you hail? Is this a riddle, or perhaps you mean to say you feel like you are ahead of your time? I feel the same way. Another reason for us to stick together. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
So, let's take it from the top. Let's find out about his story.
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and... A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself. I remember remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drawing in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down the Tiber. Sounds like you overheard it.
Of course, of course. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all? I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree? Well, if that doesn't persuade you, think of it this way. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything you like.
So, let's ask him. Does he know a way out of here?
Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Sorry, did I say something?
Have you not been told about the last attempt? Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. Ah, it is a long story. Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out. They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt, made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard the godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place. And so I say, it is best to not even discuss it aloud. Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
I'm not always going to expand the conversation. I'll go with fair enough to start. What are you going to vote?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way. Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
Okay.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
I'm not going to grab the serum until I've spoken to everybody that it's possible to talk to. Apart from one, because there'll be one I can only talk to after Scythian. So have a look at how long have I been going for. Good, 51 minutes, good. So I've spoken to Decius. I haven't spoken to that Virgil guy yet. He didn't appear to be around here at the moment of his in.
Make sure you stay away from that empty shrine. It's going to collapse at any moment.
Right, let's talk to him.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances. Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Go on then.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek. Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagined? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Okay then, let's talk about the city's architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the Great Temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake, and allows us to fish and farm.
Okay, let's ask that.
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Okay, so figure out how to get into the upper system has now become one of the... So then, tell me about the temple of blah blah blah.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know. Of course.
It was quite a big conversation, and I only asked him one time. So,
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the golden rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway. Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
Okay, so let's ask him what he thinks of the golden rule.
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me, like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called god doesn't seem to care, which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you? Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers. The first is to leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option. Perhaps not. But that's just my point. With this god, who knows? It's best if I say no more, but I hope you'll give it some thought. Oh, it means someone thinks I'm a sinner, and that I'm going to break the golden rule. Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi. Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong. It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists. Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule. What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
Pardon me, and let's ask him who he's
Well,
waiting for.
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
See what else is there to talk to. And I need to talk to everyone. I'd rather talk to everyone. Now you're one of the people.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. Can't talk long, got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions, the 6th, the one they call Ironclads. Same way as everyone else.
Why are you still wearing your legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Why don't you have a weapon?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now. If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either. None of your business. In Troiti Ipsum coming true. If we have to.
Wow, Rufius.
If I did, do you think we'd be having this conversation? I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people. Oh, then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Well, we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned. I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us when we're not looking? Like they're waiting for something. I don't like it.
Actually, I don't think it's going to matter what I say to him because what I'm going to do, and it restarts their feelings towards me, so you know what? I don't think they're moving at all. Not the ones around here, anyway. So I'm going to say that one.
Don't tell me you're one of those golden rule deniers like Malleolus. Get lost, Vampa.
I said that purposely because I know what's going to happen when I take the Sylphium, because it starts us thieving. It means I'm going to have to restart the day. And when I restart the day, I restart people's feelings towards me, so I purposely set the paranoid one. So that I'm able to speak to him another time and to take in the Sylphium. Do I get it out of the way? The longer the better. Let's see where the other one is. Aha! There she is.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Okay then, so let's start with, how did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here? Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
It's an older name, but not uncommon where I'm from. It carries negative connotations. I think I see where this is going.
Older? I see. I wonder if... No. I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
Alright, I'll do.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
I might as well ask it.
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you? Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth, and come back to me if you discover any patterns.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to stop asking you the other questions. So...
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another. I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Well, I've been talking to you for quite some time now, and which your story took longer than expected, so... Do I go, why not I have time, or do I go, is there a short version? You know what? Sod it.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all. Until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
Nah, I'm gonna go, I agree.
I'm pleased to hear it. It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask? You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination. All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course. That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me, either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself, but in this case, given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent, but if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election. By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course. I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed. Certainly. And did you notice anything? A pattern? Oh, well then. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livius and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
To be fair, it does get better, don't get me wrong. This game is mainly talking, but it does the intrigue of what it's about. There is a action piece bit in it, and to me, it is one of the best bits of the game. At some point in it, that is in it. But it does get better. I mean, I always guessed that the very first stream that I do, most of it will be me meeting them and getting started. Once it's past the first one, it will get more interesting, because other people will say more stuff and you'll be sucked in and you'll enjoy it more. I'm not saying you're not enjoying it now, but I'm just, you know what I mean, it will get, if you're enjoying it, you'll enjoy it more and it won't be as heavy. I know. I know. I'm just, but I'm just telling you that it does die down. Once I've had all the conversations once, and I've took the Sylvium, that'll be it. The conversations won't be as bad then. You notice that there's one person from that time where you were watched me a little bit. I'm avoiding talking to. I wouldn't surprise me if I don't speak to him last. I may even go up to Senji's place and speak to that funny, facetious, sarcastic, the one that goes, "Oh, I only live here, it's alright," first, before I go speak to somebody else. Because that somebody else does me head in. I'll talk to him last. And you know why from the bits that you saw. If you can remember. Because you have seen a few bits of this, haven't you? So. Right then, where are we? I'll be, so.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbours.
Okay, so that's, I've done what I've want. So that's a quitter, yeah? No, I'm not ready to talk to you yet.
Fresh meat, huh?
Well, you can fresh on. I'm going to talk to her.
Are they?
No, I'm just going to... Okay. Huh. Since he believes everyone is entitled to their secrets. Yeah, and as soon as it's secret, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna leave that as it is.
I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
No, I got a good man to just say, "I'll be going now." Wow. Take one look and just assume I'm a barbarian.
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that? Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone. I don't know. Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the Harpies?
Oh my days. I'm tempted to just walk away from her. What is wrong?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it. I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me. That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done. I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city. You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Sentilla. I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance. If you must know, I'm here because my father has forbidden me from leaving the villa. I couldn't bear to lose you too, he says, as if he loves me, and not because he needs at least one daughter he can trade off. So you'll help me find her? Oh, thank you. You should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Maybe you'll find something the rest of us missed. Thanks. I'd appreciate it. You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing God who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent God would let my sister go missing on his or her watch? Oh, I'd say it to their faces if they had the courage to show themselves. Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought. I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving. I suppose we will. Of course. What have you discovered? Oh, I see. All right, another time.
Okay, that's everything covered with Sentia. Oh, here we go. This conversation's gonna be interesting.
Citizen?
Then what's gonna be interesting more? Talking to this person or a broken toe?
What were you two talking about? Don't play dumb. I saw you, having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. If he's making a last-ditch effort to pick up votes by talking to a woman, he's even more senile than I thought. Everyone knows women can't vote. What else would you be murmuring about on election day? Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it? Oh, you just made a big mistake. The tortures of Tartarus while you're still alive. Sturka Medite.
He wants to get in my face. So I'm just going to do that. It's not going to bother me anyway because I get a second chance to have a better conversation with him. But I've got people beyond to talk to, even still. People that I never spoke to until people this way. So I still haven't had all the conversations. See, this one will mainly be talking, getting to know all the people in the game. Apart from one that's in the kind of spot that relies on progression. Don't steal anything, don't hurt anyone, don't. Whoever wrote this didn't get a chance to finish, evidently. Aha. Obviously not Galerius, I've met him. Now let's talk to Livia.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the Forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths.
Sounds like a torture.
Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives.
Tomorrow's a new day.
They never do. There is only a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. Help me? You cannot help me. I have seen things. A pattern, a terrible pattern. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more. The bloodless shadows. This is their punishment. You think you wish to know, but you do not. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more. The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them. Cerberus lifts his crippled head.
On your best behavior, I trust.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron?
Of course,
Scare
I'm
away my
spontaneous.
customers.
I think it's because when I first bumped into him, I was subjected to only following him. So here we go.
I'm a legionary of the First Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals. I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing alright for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl. And pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum Fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose. Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind, as labour does the body. That said, Sentilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit. He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that. I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested. I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
Aurelia, Claudia, Decius, Demetrius, Luis, Liquidi, Faria, Clarius, Georgius. Okay.
Of course. Well, as I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like 100-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it.
You were saying you're in favour of it. Where I'm from, that would be considered collective punishment, which is a war crime.
A war crime? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent. Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous. What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the Golden Rule, I don't have any control over it, so railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is so wants nothing. What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms.
I didn't mean to stand
if you
there
like.
and say that.
Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery, and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator, so people fear and respect him more than they should. Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change. I suppose it is. What business is that of yours? A lot of people have been looking for it, but it's been 3 weeks, and we've found nothing. What makes you think you can do better? I I suppose that's true. Scintilla was always a kind, well-behaved young woman. I admit, her disappearance really caught me off guard. If anyone knows something, I'd expect it to be Sentia, Malleolus, Claudia, or Domitius. But none of them will tell me anything. You might feel better though, I suppose. Fine. All right. Please keep an eye out for anything that might lead us to Scintilla.
There is still one person I haven't spoken to yet, but that's because I haven't had that threat about that arrow dude yet. Which is quite weird, really, because I remember the first time I played this, that happened very quickly. And very soon. Not so much in this playthrough for some reason. Right, let's see what Aurelia has to say.
Oh, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication. What was that? Some kind of joke? If it was, it wasn't funny. I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing anymore. Let's just forget that ever happened, so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern? Ugh, let it go. Nothing's going to happen between us.
Well, I didn't want anything to happen between... Wow.
You know, normally, I'd expect you to buy me a drink before asking if I want to get out of here. Straight to business, huh? I can work with that. As a matter of fact, I do know a way out. I'm happy to tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't just give it out like some cheap oracle. So, how badly do you want it? Is it worth, say, 1,000 denarii to you? I think of it this way. I have something of value, and I'm willing to share it for a price. That's not unethical. That's just good business. Now, do you want it or not? If I took your money without giving you what I promised, I'd be breaking the golden rule, wouldn't I? And I have no interest in doing that. Well, perhaps you could take out a loan. I understand Malleolus has lent money to others, on occasion. I just try not to think about it. Drink helps with that. As the saying goes, to drink is human, so we drink. Certainly, for 10 denarii. Whatever you like.
Wow.
Alright, see ya.
You really don't want to tell me anything useful without denarii. You was about as much use as how can I put this?
I love your clothes.
Salvis.
So
As a shield.
exotic.
As a shield with the middle missing.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue a stone that always returns.
Now,
The 49 Velades fetch again with incessant labor. The one they have lost.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
No, I'm not doing that.
You're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax. Get some
You,
rest.
Tatas,
Tomorrow's
cannot
day.
catch the drops of water, and the tree you grasp at eludes you.
You're trespassing. Get out, now.
What else have I to do with the fact that I'm trying to find something?
Hilarious.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Santella. I haven't slept like 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Unless, of course, I can't do that yet.
Anyway, I thought you Stoics
But you'd think you'd be able to do it straight away.
Sounds like you're
Oh well.
torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax. Get some rest.
The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant labour. The water they have lost.
And then he's spoken to everyone. I've just got to go back there to see if that woman starts that thingy, which hasn't happened yet. And then I think I'll end it on trying to deal with the person that she warns me about. If she warns me. Obviously I won't go that way because that way is sacred, because it costs me from being able to do something which I'm trying to evade and not do it. So I purposely won't go that way, because once I go that way and I speak to someone, I remember what happens afterwards. So until I meet the right criteria to do it in such a way where that doesn't have to happen, I won't be going that direction. Yes. There's this fellow in here. I may have to end it with this fellow in here because for some reason that other bit hasn't happened.
Hello? My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up. I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure. Yes, but I wasn't. I was just looking. They said I did it more than once, but I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy. Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Okay.
What does it say? My treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said, if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady. Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot. Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what. Like Galerius, he's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here, and I can give you the key to my treasure. Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was, just that it was way up high and very precious. You're going to let me out of here? Really? Please. I hate it here. It makes me very sad. Gold? You mean treasure? My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said, if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady. Bye-bye.
Right, so I think that's sorted out. I'll hang around here just that little bit longer in the vain hopes. What's happening?
You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's going to break the golden rule. Fabula, but now's not the time. Are you going to help or not? Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh god. What happened? I didn't do anything. I'll take it now then. For what it's worth. So I approach her, I talk to her, and then suddenly the many shall suffer for the one. What? No, that has never happened like that. There's always been a clear view of what I did to make that happen. This one's unclear. I could potentially class that as a trial and error day. Only with the quest journal still intact with fresh quests. So before I do anything like that, I just want to check something. Yes, the leads are, pardon me, the leads are all there. And all these are there. Right, in inventory I have no dinars. Flashlight, an inscribed stone tablet, a citizen register, letter from Sentius to Dulu. And a Silphium resin, which I wasn't going to grab yet, but I have now grabbed because it sort of unfairly went wrong. Now I just want to cash in on one thing by going to speak to him again, because I know what he's going to give me.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you. Oh, and since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
Zipline handlebar. Okay.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking. And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably. Alright, see you around.
Okay, and I might as well christen this and I'm going to give it a proper save. Without falling, preferably. Right, okay, that's that sorted. I'm not going to give another test start to that woman. I'm going to call it here because, I mean, I could and then save it, but on this occasion I won't. I will go back to the shrine as if I'm about to speak to Galerius again, except I'm going to be standing where Galerius is. So speaking to him, I only did that to, you know, show off the zipline. Now I'm going to go back. I mean, what time are we on? Yeah, we've got to go for 2 hours, I think. 1:55, 5 more minutes. I suppose I could spend the next 5 minutes. See if I can get that woman to appear again, and this time get it right. I have to do it sooner. So I've already spoken to everyone. Quests are inbound. I may have to go around everyone and ask what's your story again, but I don't really need to ask them to do anything else. I could just ask what's your story for that Aquitia one. I'll do that tomorrow, but I might try and get that arrow dude out of the way. And I might have a second attempt at this, well, a person just about.
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day. The name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me. Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it. I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return. Dunno. Something good.
Okay.
If you set one foot in that villa without permission, I'll skin you alive, you Pusillus Semitarius Mocus. Or Cinculio mio.
Just because I said I was going to find another way in. Oh my days. Why is that I can't stand in?
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's going to break the golden rule. Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over. What? Why? All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Right then. I'll get this bit out of the way and then save. I want to get this bit out of the way because I don't want to prove that I have started getting the ball rolling, starting with this, dealing with this.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know
no
where
such
he is?
person here.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
I remember how to do this bit. I made sure of that because it did my head in the most when I first played it. I'm just gonna... Go to that shrine. I've got something to say when you're already too close. Just to clarify, that's the dodgy shrine.
Filthy, lying degenerate.
Bye. Right. Right, so then I'll save it. I'll go over me over new save. Yes. Right then, that's it. I've officially saved it, and so I'm going to quit out of the game. And this will conclude the first stream of the Forgotten City. So, thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the more, how can I put it? The more nitty and gritty fun of missions. Now that I've met everyone, the only things I will need to do again is do watch your story. But this time, if there's any way to shorten the watch your story, I will shorten the watch your story rather than let them go into all that detail. Technically, I should still have knowledge of it anyway. because I remember everything I got told. Technically, they won't know that obviously because the day restarts and then things restart with them. Yes, that's going to be a problem where Demetrius is concerned, but if push comes to shove, I'll just easily steal something and restart. And maybe I won't even bother meeting him until I have the Denari to meet Malleolus. So, thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with more Forgotten City. Bye for now.